England, the names of foreign affairs department here at Freedom Communications Incorporated. Welcome to the good evening from the news and current affairs department here at Freedom Communications Incorporated with studios in Monrovia. Good evening from the news and current affairs department. Addressing good evening. Pleasant good evening from the News and Current Affairs Department here at Freedom Communications Incorporated with studios in Monrovia. Welcome to the Thursday, May 2, 2023 edition of the News Basket, 45 minutes of the latest factual captivating news happenings in Liberia. And there's where this is a Jeff Jefferson presentation. The top developments are following tonight. President George Weah departs the country for the coronation ceremony of King Charles III of the United Kingdom. Nimba County Senator Prince Johnson describes as political retaliation the dismissal of Post and Telecommunications Minister Councilor Cooper Kura. Information Minister Ledger Horan tells Voice of America that President George Weah has the constitutional right to appoint and dismiss any government official appointed by him. Away from home, more than 100,000 people have fled Sudan since heavy fighting broke out between rival forces on 15 April, according to the United Nations. The details of these developments, the voices of the newsmakers, the news bulletins, posts, are packaged in this edition of the news program, as well as the foreign developments, are sponsored by Crime Stoppers Liberia. This news presentation is relayed on Hot Work Radio in Pawpaw District, Grand Cape County. At this juncture, we cross over to the news desk where Stephen Conton is seated to read for us the news bulletin. Good evening, Stephen.
Good evening, Jeff. Good evening, listeners. President George Weah has departed the country for the coronation ceremony of King Charles III of the United Kingdom. The Liberian leader left the country via the Roberts International Airport on Tuesday, May 2. King Charles III coronation ceremony will be convened on Saturday, May 6 at Westnor Abbey and will include similar ceremony that were witnessed during the funeral rites of the late Queen Elizabeth. During the program, King Charles III will also have the crown of St. Edward on his head. Among those expected to attend the program are French President Emmanuel Macron, U.S. First Lady Gerald Biden, among others. President Weah was accompanied by Foreign Minister Mazwe Kimia, Major General Daniel Zanga, Minister of National Defense, and Lejahu Renin, Minister of Information, among others. Nimba County Senator Prince Johnson had described the dismissal of Post and Telecommunication Minister Councillor Cooper Cry as political retaliation. The former Post and that telecommunication minister is the chairman of the Movement for Democracy and Reconstruction, which is an alliance with the opposition Unity Party, and had attended the naming ceremony of the vice running mate to former Vice President Joseph Boyka. Senator Johnson, speaking with the Voice of America Tuesday, however, noted that he had told former Minister Cry to peacefully resign from the CDC government since his party is opposed to the ruling establishment. Meanwhile, Senator Johnson has revealed that the selection of Senator Jeremiah Cohn by the Unity Party is welcoming and is in the right direction for the rescue of the country from alleged bad governance. He also clarified that he has no part in the process that led to the selection of Senator Jeremiah Cohn as vice running mate to Ambassador Joseph Boakai. At the same time, responding to Senator Johnson's description of the dismissal of Councillor Cooper Cry, Information Minister Lejahu Renning told the Voice of America that President Weah has the constitutional right to appoint and dismiss any government official appointed by him. According to him, the president was simply exercising his constitutional right. House Speaker Buford Chambers has officially dedicated a modern town hall in Cordocan, Maryland County. The modern facility replaced a durable that a deplorable mini structure previously used for holding town hall meetings among other ceremonies. The new facility, which cost over 20,000 United States dollars, will address the previous challenges the citizens encountered, especially holding public ceremony during the rainy season. The construction of the facility followed numerous calls by citizens to other prominent and eminent citizens of Playboy Sudecan District, but to no avail, thus prompting the humanitarian intervention of House Speaker Buford Chambers. Speaking during the turning over ceremony Monday, Speaker Chambers said he had other stalwarts of the coalition government have noted President Weah's enthusiasm to see Liberia rapidly developed. On the sideline of Speaker Chambers' ongoing voters registration awareness in Playboy Sudecan District, he has rendered humanitarian gesture to several towns, villages, organizations, including the redundant workers of Cavada Rubber Plantation, that's Corporation, Sedicant, Gitabo, Zone 10, Circuitville Hospital, Camp 3, and Zone 4. The speaker also had closed-door talks with the management of Golden Southard, Maryland Oil Palm Plantation, and Cavada Rubber Corporation. The national campaign management team of Julius Kanuba for the presidency of the Press Union of Liberia has welcomed Tuesday hearing into its build of information by the full bench of the Supreme Court. Tim Kanuba filed the build of information raising substantive legal and procedural issue in the wake of December 30, 2022 mandate by Associate Justice Joseph Namwe. Justice Namwe, following a December conference, had ordered Judge Bueman Konto to lift the stay order placed on all PUL activities, including the so-called induction of illegally elected officers. The Kanaba in the press release said Tuesday's hearing by the full bench of the Supreme Court signals yet another legal path in pursuit of impartial justice. Tuesday's hearing at the Supreme Court was presided over by Chief Justice Sani A. Yaw, with Associate Justice Yusuf Kaba participating along with Associate Justice James Etta Wolokoli. According to the release, Justice Namwe, whose action necessitated Tinkadaba build of information, was in attendance but recused himself in line with legal practice, while Justice Yami Bese also recused himself on ground that he has a family relationship with Daniel Yankona, one of the defendants. Meanwhile, the national campaign team of Julius Carnabat said as the Supreme Court has reserved ruling into the Bill of Information, the team calls on Antonin Allard, Benania Do Pivot, the Center for Media Studies and Peace Building of Macon Joseph, to stay clear of the World Press Freedom Day celebration honor the auspices of PUL aspired leadership. Tim Carnival said participating in an event organized by the aspired leadership of Charles Coffey, Daniel Young Conan, Musa Khan, and Akwebesa is an affront to December 15, 2022 state order placed on all activities of the PUL former administration by the 9th Judiciary Circuit Court in Banga, Bon County. The national campaign team of Julius Kanaba for the PUL presidency also noted that the aspired PUL leadership of Kofi, Yankodan Kanan, and Besa has continuously ignored the judge's stay order since December 2022 after failing to provide a credible membership register which is critical to the conduct of legitimate Congress and subsisting election of the PUL. The Carnavat in the release said it believes it is shameful for individuals and organizations such as the Center for Media Studies and Peace Building to be partnering with the aspired leadership of the PUL, which is on record for flagrantly violating the union's constitution and conducting night election, thereby denying the right of majority journalists and media practitioners to a credible and legitimate leadership. Well, Jeff, that's a shift of the news bulletin. It's back to you for the continuation of the news program.
Many thanks to many thanks to Stephen Compton for reading us the news bulletin. It is a regular feature on the Freedom News Basket. Stephen will return later with the news from the foreign scene. If you just joined us, a reminder you're listening to the Tuesday, May 2, 2023 edition of the News Basket. 45 minutes of the latest factual news happenings in Liberia and elsewhere. A reminder of the top developments and following in this edition of the news program. President George Weah departs the country for the coronation ceremony of King Charles, the third of the United Kingdom. Nima County Senator Prince Johnson describes as political retaliation the dismissal of Post and Telecommunications Minister Councillor Cooper Kura. Information Minister Ledger Hood Renan tells the Voice of America that President George Weah has the constitutional right to appoint and dismiss any government official appointed by him. Away from home, more than 100,000 people have fled Sudan since heavy fighting broke out between rival forces on April 15, according to the United Nations. We now bring you the voices of those making the news, and let's begin with this development where Nema County Senator Prince Johnson has described the dismissal of Post and Telecommunications Minister Councillor Kopo Kura as political retaliation. The former Post and Telecommunications Minister is the chairman of the Movement for Democracy and Reconstruction, which is in alliance with the opposition Unity Party. He had attended the naming ceremony of the vice running mate of the former Vice President Joseph Yuma Boakai. Senator Johnson, speaking with the Voice of America on Tuesday, however, noted that he had told the former Minister Kura to peacefully resign from the CDC government since his party is opposed to the ruling establishment. This is Nima County Senator Prince Johnson.
I have told this my minister a long time ago when we pulled out. I said to him, kindly resign on your own. You cannot be a national chairperson of the Movement for Democracy and Reconstruction, MDR, opposed now to Georgia's government. Then at the same time, you are a minister, a cabinet minister in the very government that we oppose. They will not take it lightly. So please resign. And if he had listened to me, he would have resigned ever since. Even this gone Sunday, I think yesterday, I called him to my office, the church office, and I called a few members of the deacon board to advise him to resign. And he promised to resign by this week, presumably on Wednesday or Thursday. He was packing his team at my office and preparing his document of resignation. But for me, I don't think it was proper for him to have gone to the executive mansion to talk to the newly appointed Minister of State, informing him that he should tell the president that he, Honorable Cobalt Crow, the Minister of Post and Telecommunication, will be resigning this week.
Senator, the way you sound, it seems that only the people who work for the government must be supporters of the president.
But that's the way Mr. Toulouse will want it. That's his style of leadership. In the case of Madame Salee, our administration, she a minister was, she had opposition, she had Eugene Nagbe from the CDC, she had Louis Brown from the MPP, and even Nathaniel McGee worked also in her government. She never dismissed them. She brought opposition.
Meanwhile, Senator Johnson has revealed that the selection of Senator Jeremiah Cohn by the Unity Party is welcome and is in the right direction for the rescue of the country from alleged bad governance. He also clarified that he has no part in the process that led to the selection of Senator Jeremiah Cohn as vice running mate to Ambassador Joseph Yuma Boakai.
Let me ask you, Senator Johnson, your junior senator from Nimba County was selected by former Vice President Joseph Boakai as his running mate for the 2023 presidential election. What do you make of that?
Well, you know, like I told you earlier, the MDR is a political party registered under the law of the Republic of Liberia with incorporators from the 15 countries. And so the party is open to forming alliance, forming merger, or collaboration, or coalition. So it's no problem for me to see the Unity Party choosing our political leader, Senator Cohn, as a running mate. It's a good news for the youth in the Republic. He represents the youth. It's a good news for the people of Nimba County. It's a good news for development. It's a good news for the Liberian people who want to see a real fight against drug importation, and it's a good news for all Liberians who do not want to see Liberia being used as a drug transit point.
People say that you had your thumb on that selection. You influence it. What do you say?
No, it's not possible, Mr. Botti. I did not manipulate anything, no. I did not influence anything, no. I've never been part of any meeting that led to his choosing.
His Nimba County Senator Prince Johnson speaking with the Voice of America, reacting to the dismissal of now former Post and Telecommunications Minister Councillor Cobalt Crow. Government through the Ministry of Youth and Sports has kicked off phase 2 of its temporary empowerment for community youth program across the country. It can be recalled in 2022, the ministry kicked off the project in Montserrat in an effort to create jobs for more than 1,000 persons across the 17 districts of the county. Speaking at the commencement of phase 2 of the project Monday, TECY Regional Coordinator Alex Sibu said this year's project will benefit over 4,000 persons from 6 of Liberia's 15 counties to Montserrat, Boma, Nimba, Grand Bassa, Maryland, and Rewaji. Here's Alex Sibu.
Last year, we operated in 1 million as a government. One of the Ministry of Youth and Sports. The government gave us 1 million last year. So we managed to provide opportunity for 1,144 persons of last year. This year, the government gave us 2.5 million. Through your hard work, through your energy that you have planned, that you gave last year. So the president, in his wisdom, decided to increase the money so that more people can be on the project. So for this year, we will have 4,487 persons. So all of the communities will increase into their numbers. So for example, the GSA were operating 40 last year. now Jersey Road will be up to 200. So a red line will up within 100, you'll be around 300, 400 based on the new number that will be added to this year's number. Please, we have been mandated by the ministry. One thing we're not able to joke this year is the attendance. Let me make that very clear here. No monkey wear bamboo joke. And I don't know about you, but for me, I take part of it. Because I believe that we're putting bread on my table. So I expect all of us.
He's Alex Sebo, the regional coordinator of the Temporary Empowerment for Community Youth Program under the a program under the Ministry of Youth and Sports being supported by the government of Liberia. Sano County District 3 Representative Matthew Zaza has denied media reports that he was involved with choking of people from Grangeda County to Sano County. He revealed that nearly all lawmakers are taking what he called their relatives back to their counties of origin to participate in the ongoing BVR process. It was reported recently in the media that Sano County lawmaker the Sano County lawmaker was seen in Grangeda County allegedly trucking people to Sano County to register in his favor. But Representative Zaza Tuesday clarified that his presence in Grangeda County was not intended for him to truck people to Sano County, but rather he was in the county to encourage his kinsmen in the region to take advantage of the ongoing BVR exercise in that part of the country. Let's listen to the Sano County Representative Matthew Zaza.
People talk all kinds of things, they do all kinds of things. If you put a single person down to say that substances go to file and register, Sino County has boundaries with different counties. We have boundary with Grand Coupe County, we have boundary with Maryland County, we have boundary with Riverside County. Why is it that only Grand County that they talked about? They say I go to the other counties and talk to people as well. Okay, let me tell you the history of where I came from. My town is at the edge of Grand and Sino. In fact, Grand was part of Sino County until 1964. It's difficult to tell the difference between Sino County and Grand County. We have the same culture, same everything is no different, basically. It's so happens that even the one year is a Sabo shrine. There we have the Sabo to show that when the county Grand was created, portion of that Sabo land was annexed to Grand was part of Grand but the Crown Sabo, we are almost the same. Besides the war, inside the whole community migrated to Grand I can show my sister, my cousins, my nieces, all over the place. So you can never tell. Now, some of these people decided to go back to final to register. Some of the people that are in final, they decided to go back to register because we are kind of interrelated. So, as I was telling you, most of us representatives, apart from representatives in Malaysia and Missouri County, most of us live here, going home, telling our relatives or south or Jesus. So why people do raise around? Because if that is the case, then it's illegal. How will you go from Missouri to go to final, Baza, to go into other places to register? The fact is that these are your relatives that want to go in the county and register. So I don't see anything that is so wrong that when your family want to come in their county to register, I don't see anything that is wrong with that. But if somebody says, I say, go and move, no.
His Sano County District 3 Representative Matthew Zaza refuted media reports that he's involved with choking of people from Grangeda County to Sano County to register in his favor. House Speaker Dr. Buffer Chambers has officially dedicated a modern town hall in Kidokan, Maryland County. The modern facility replaced a deplorable meeting structure previously used for holding town hall meetings among other ceremonies. The new facility, which cost over 20,000 United States dollars, will address the previous challenges the citizens encounter, especially holding public ceremonies during the rain season. Speaking during the turnover ceremony Monday, Speaker Chambers said he and other stalwarts of the coalition government have emulated President George Weah's enthusiasm to see Liberia rapidly developed. The speaker was interpreted while speaking to the beneficiaries of the projects.
And we see how you are now.
Thank you very much.
We see how you are now.
I'm happy that we could be here
And then I block no, but new.
I'm sorry, my son is calling me. He wants to see the program. We are happy to be in your midst.
Any problem about the
Whatever the case is, this is our place. We have been in this area for some time. But it's not yet ended. Because I think accompanying all of these things would be the Lapras. So we'll come back. To all those dedicated hands that have been contributing to this exercise, want to say thank you very much. The Honorable Chief, members of your council, the great honorable officials of this district, the honorable superintendent for development of the county, the inspector of this district, the platform guests. May God grace this vocation. May He guide you as you go about operating the facility. And I hope that it is sustained and maintained. This is just the many beginnings. Let us work together so that prosperity will come our way. Continue to support Honorable George Weah. President George Weah. He is the shepherd of the land. And I think with his stewardship, this country will be transformed. We are grateful to you. May you live with other strength. I want to thank everybody who has played a role, small or big. This is what we decided based on your need.
His House Speaker, Dr. Buffer Chambers, speaking Monday in Maryland County when he officially dedicated the Warden Town Hall in Kidokin, Maryland County. His brothers to have an hour into the news. Let's remind you that you're listening to the Tuesday, May 2, 2023 edition of the News Basket, 45 minutes of the latest factual, captivating news happenings in Liberia and elsewhere. A reminder, once again, of the top developments we're following in this edition of the news program. President George Weah departs the country for the coronation ceremony of King Charles III of the United Kingdom. Nimba County Senator Prince Johnson describes as political retaliation the dismissal of Post and Telecommunications Minister, Councillor Cooper Creer. Information Minister Ledger Horan tells Voice of America that President George Weah has the constitutional right to appoint and dismiss any government official appointed by him. Away from home, more than 100,000 people have fled Sudan since heavy fighting broke out between rival forces on April 15, according to the United Nations. We're taking a break. When we come back, we'll bring you more developments in this edition of the Freedom News Basket. Thanks for rejoining us. Let's apologize that we can't bring you the Passion of Life sports. We're continuing with more developments on the news program. Authorities of the Liberia Airport Authority have refuted claims in the public that the Rabas International Airport got at fire Sunday evening. Speaking with schools of reporters Monday at the Rabas International Airport, Jefferson Goyu, acting head of corporate communications, said the information which circulated on the social media came as a surprise as such. The incident has not occurred at the Liberia Airport Authority. Guiu added that upon seeing the widely spread Facebook post, the authorities at the airport immediately placed a call to the deputy head of the Liberia National Fire Service. He was told that nothing of such happened at the Rabas International Airport or its environs.
We were all taken by surprise when we followed some posts on the social media, to be precise on Facebook, that the RRA facility was gutted by fire. It also shocked me, and I immediately established contact with the deputy head of fire service, who was also shocked about such an information. It was the first time he even heard about it. He was surprised. He asked me where that information was coming from, and I told him I just seen it making rounds on Facebook, and he said there's nothing to his attention that has to do with fire outbreak at the airport facility or even the airport environment. I really can understand, but there have been no worries or no fear of fire incident. We have one of the best firefighters in our country, especially when it relates to aerodrome, the fighting of fire on airport and its facility. They are trained, they have long years of experience in dealing with these kind of issues. It was surprising, like I said, to turn on my phone and see people saying that the airport is not prepared to fight fire. The airport doesn't have a fire truck to carry on its everyday work. You were all surprised too when we displayed how functional our 2 fire trucks are and also our 2 ambulances that are providing daily services to the airport. We have had no incident of fire, and we toured you through the terminals, we toured you through the RAM perimeter of the airport, and there was no sign that there was ever a fire on yesterday evening as being rumored. We are not worried for the fact that we are doing our work based on what we have. We are not worried because there was no fire at the airport. What worries me, and what also should worry Liberians, is the issue of people sharing false and misleading information to the public.
He's Jefferson Goyi. He's the acting chief of corporate communications or acting head of corporate communications at the Rabas International Airport, disputing reports of that the airport got a fire on Sunday. To this development, where the road leading to the much publicized 2022 presidential and legislative elections is getting shorter, different auxiliary groupings are now in the battlefront to campaign for the re-election of President George Weah. One of such groups is the New Birth Nima for Weah 2023 that has since been aggressively moving into the different parts of Nima County to preach the development gestures and initiatives undertaken by President George Weah. During the weekend, the Nima for Weah 2022 traveled to the densely populated commercial city of Ganta, Nima County, to speak to people of voting ages for the re-election of the Liberian leader. The Nima for Weah at the same time encouraged Nimbayans to troop at various registration centers to get registered for the ongoing parliamentary voters registration. Cedra Doki is the chairperson of the group. He has been explaining more of the Nima for Weah to reporters in Ganta, Nima County. Let's listen on to Shadra Doki, the chairman of the Nima for Weah.
There's something we used to say every time the war. The source of yesterday, you could not pay your road from Ghana to Saklepie. There's not a type of source to compare with the source of today. The source of not pay the road. Nima for Weah 2023 is going to be an organization of the 11 Nima County Board of President George Emmanuel Weah. The Nima for Weah was funded by conscious mind and body. People that have seen the need to put Nima interests above individual interests. People that have seen the need unless Nima has rather than an individual. These are people that came together to form Nima for real under the country. Nima was formed in 1964. Do we compare that 3 years? One of those things that Nima can to enjoy a better industrial sector as more Morocco. In less than 30 years, the sons and daughters who have free education that they are benefiting today. Today, on my tax, I have a rate of 3,800 Libanians that are scholarship in this document. You see the role of Sani Mole to gather a BP. What will not happen in 103 years? In less than a year, the role of government is not connected to the world. I said in less than a year, what the field of doing in 103 years, the role of government is not connected to 7 years. The role of 7 years is not limited to Africa. The role of Africa was to be joined to branches. So we there is a need to appreciate this government. What we see now cannot be compared to what we saw yesterday. So because of that, we are going to bear that government and not sit here at the end of the 12th year in letting a move and drive from the river in less than 4 hours and you'll be incomplete. At the end of the 12th year, in that year, can even run motorbike from Ghana, a white person, to know what to run and block and come. So we are saying, we are not doing that because we love judgment as an individual. We are doing that because we love humanity. And he is the only person that is doing what we did not experience in 103 years. So because of that, we are going to bury one more person.
He's the national chairperson of the NEMA for Weir Relations, Shedra Doki, speaking recently when the NEMA for Weir rally Nimbayans in Ganta City to register in the ongoing parliamentary voters registration exercise across Nima County and 8 other counties in Liberia. Well, at this juncture, we will now rejoin Stephen Compton to read for us the news from the foreign scene.
More than 1,000 people have fled Sudan since heavy fighting broke out between rival forces on 15 April, the UN has said. Officials warn of a full-blown catastrophe if fighting does not end. A further 334,000 people have been displaced within Sudan. Fighting is continuing in the capital Khartoum between the army and the paramilitary rapid forces, despite a ceasefire due to be in force. Diplomatic efforts are being stepped up to try and get the warring parties to the negotiation table. On Tuesday, South Sudan's foreign ministry said the army and RSF had agreed in principle to a new 7-day truce from 4 May and had promised to send representatives to talks. Its statement came a day after the UN Special Envoy to Sudan, Volker Perthes, told the AP news agency that the two sides had agreed to negotiate a stable and reliable fire cease. Saudi Arabia was a potential venue for the talks, he added. If talks take place, it will be the first meeting between the two sides since the conflict started. It's back to you, Jeff.
Stephen Compton in the news from the foreign scene. He's taking us home on this edition of the News Basket. 45 minutes of the latest factual news happenings in Liberia and elsewhere. Just before we leave you, a recap of the major developments we've been following. President George Weah departs the country for the coronation ceremony of King Charles III of the United Kingdom. Nimba County Senator Prince Johnson describes as political retaliation the dismissal of Post and Telecommunications Minister Councillor Kopokura. Information Minister Ledger Hood Rennie tells Voice of America that President George Weah has the constitutional right to appoint and dismiss any government official appointed by him. And away from home, more than 100,000 people have fled Sudan since heavy fighting broke out between rival forces on April 15, according to the United Nations. Many thanks to our correspondents, contributors, reporters, and all who helped make this edition of the News Basket a success. Many thanks to Stephen Compton, who read us the news bulletin and the news from the regional scene. An invitation that you join us tomorrow morning at 6 for an hour magazine news program, The News Insight. Many thanks to Crime Stoppers Liberia for proudly sponsoring this edition of the News Basket. He's been proudly relayed on Hard Rock Radio in Paul Pat District, Grand Cayman County. Let's apologize for the glitches we held initially during the presentation of the news. Thanks for viewing. Thanks for listening. On behalf of the entire team, this has been the Jeff Jefferson presentation. Good evening from Morovia.